Hi, I'm Dr. Bertice Berry, and I want to tell you a story. Back in the early 70s, social scientists did an experiment to determine which way of support, financial support to the poor, would be most effective. They took one group of families and they gave them a lump sum of money. They took another group of families and gave them the same amount of money but doled it out throughout the year. And then the third group of families got nothing. The group that got the amount of money doled out month to month just barely made it. They would be fine for the beginning of the month. By the end of the month, everything had run out. It was just enough to make it. The group that had nothing actually did better than the group that got amount of money doled out from month to month, because in their despair, they had to make something happen. And so they did slightly better, not much, but slightly better. The group that got the lump sum, one-time lump sum of money, did exceedingly well because they were able to make decisions for themselves and to purchase the transportation they needed to get to a better job. They could find child support. They could provide their family with the kind of nutrition that they needed. They could stock up on things that they needed, getting them at a lower price, rather than buying them from places that were close by that cost a whole lot more, that added all these charges and things. And then they were able to pull themselves out of the situation they were in, with long-term strategies that they created on their own. There was education involved for better jobs, and better jobs meant better housing meant better neighborhoods. So this was something that was known. One day we were discussing this in a doctoral seminar with Professor Elizabeth Mullins. I asked this question: if we know this, why don't we spend money to end poverty? Why won't we buy people a house? Why won't we put them in what they need? Why don't we get them the transportation they need? Why don't we do it that way? Why do we spend so much more money on war than we do on poverty? Why don't we provide health care for everyone? Why don't we do that? Dr. Mullins looked at me as if to say, "Really, Bert? Are you that ignorant?" For Dr. Mullins, ignorant was you don't know something, and you didn't take it personal. She meant you really don't know. Stupid was you don't want to know. You didn't want to hear stupid from Dr. Mullins. And I was like, no, I want to know. And she said, if I solve poverty this year, do you think that poor person's going to need something from me next year? No. She said, if we have a war this year, do you think we can have another war next year and you need more weapons and more weapons and more weapons and more weapons? She said the people who are on the receiving end, who are selling those things, can always make money. If we deal with poverty and healthcare, and we got people well, and we got them out of poverty, and we removed the systemic nature of racism and sexism, the 1% can't keep making money. You can't solve this problem and continue to make money off of it. I recently wrote a post right after the earthquake in Haiti, and I asked my friends to join me in prayer for the people of Haiti. Immediately, someone else wrote, "And what about Afghanistan?" Okay, well, I had a separate post that said that, but maybe you can't like two posts because that's too much, like in two posts. So, okay. Oh, and Afghanistan, the people of Afghanistan. And what about the people with COVID? And then and what about the people of Texas and Florida? And what about the people who can't get vaccinated? And what about the doctors and the people and I'm also praying for. And I thought, well, maybe these people, this is something that they're really, really passionate about. And when they see prayer for something else, it triggers them. So I'd go to their page to look to see if, they were asking for prayer on their page so I could join them in the prayer. And I realized, no, this is not something they're so passionate about that they have to critique a post. It's just a need to critique something, as if Me praying for people of Haiti says that I can't pray for people in Afghanistan. That if I'm praying for the doctors and the nurses, I've somehow missed the CNAs who are nurses. That if I mention my neighborhood, I don't care about yours. Love is not zero sum. If I have 80%, you don't have to fight over the other 20. Love is the most renewable resource on the planet. And prayer, if you believe in prayer, you should also believe that you can blink and pray for everybody at once. What is this thing that we're doing? That the enemy of my enemy is now my friend, and if you did it, I can't stand for it. And if you say it, I can't believe in it. But if you're talking about this, you got to also talk about that. Social media is to allow us to all have a platform to talk about what we care about. And guess what? If we all get involved in caring about what we care about, we could cover the planet. But instead, we want to control the voice of each other person rather than take care of the one. I do this little thing with supporting folks who are just a little bit in need. It's just sometimes a little bit will get you over the line. It's not a whole lot. It's just one little thing that can catch you up. And if that one thing was taken care of, then everything else would be okay. It doesn't take a lot. And sometimes I invite my friends to help me. And sometimes I hear things like, well, if I give to them, then what about the people over here? What about this? And what about that? And I'm so sorry. I'm mistaking you for somebody who cared. It just takes a little bit. And we all get to care about whatever we care about. And the beautiful thing about love is that it covers everything. Stop believing with your head. Because believing with my head says, I don't know. So I'm just going to believe. But believing with my heart says everything's going to be okay. I don't know how. I don't need to know how. I know if I do my part with my heart and you do yours with yours, we're going to get there. I love you.